Hey, it's Michael with GLG America. In this video, I wanted to talk about how to become an independent insurance agent. What are the steps that you got to take in order to do that? So let's get into those steps in this video. So a lot of times I'm asked, how do you get started? What do you got to do? What are the steps to, start selling insurance? And, there's basically 5 steps, and, those just involve getting licensed in the states that you want to do business for the product lines that you want to sell. So there are 2 types of licenses. There's a resident license, which is issued by the state that you live in, and then there's a non-resident license, which are issued by the states that you don't live in, so you can transact business with them. So for example, I'm in Indiana, my resident state. That's where I have my home license, my resident license, and I'm also licensed in a dozen or so other states outside of Indiana, and I have non-resident licenses in all of those states. So it all starts with your resident license, and the first thing you got to do is you got to go to your Department of Insurance's website. So you just Google your state Department of Insurance, and it's probably going to be the first site that comes up. You go to that website and you start looking for licensing for residents, and you're going to start to find the requirements that that state has. Now, it's pretty much the same in every state to get your license. There's going to be some pre-licensing requirements that you'll have to fulfill, and those basically come in the form of coursework that you'll need to take for the licenses that you want to apply for. So there's life and health, life and accident health, and there's property and casualty. Those are a couple of the most common. Now, I suggest that you go ahead and when you're doing your licensing initially, just to get licensed for any product that you think you might want to sell. And so what I did, I got licensed in life and accident and health, and then I also got licensed in property and casualty. And I hardly ever use my property and casualty license, but I have it in case I ever want to split commission with anybody. I've got it. And I have had agents before, they just had their life license and not their accident and health. And then later, when they wanted to offer some other products, then they had to go back and get their accident and health. So don't make that mistake. Just make sure you go ahead and get licensed or get the licensing requirements for each of those kinds of licenses that you want. It'll cost you a few $100s for the courses. You take the courses. A lot of times they're offered in webinar online format so that you can just take them at your own convenience. But you have to take them through approved carriers for the state that you're working in. So you want to use a major national company to kind of take care of those, so that if you work in other states that it applies. So after you fulfill your pre-licensing requirements, then what you have to do is you have to take an exam and pass that state's insurance exam. And that might be $40-50 or so to take. It's usually pass, fail, at least it was when I took it a long time ago. And then once you pass that exam for the licenses that you want, then you apply for your license and send in another fee. And that's usually good for a year or two until you have to renew it. And then after that, you just get appointed with the insurance companies that you want to work with. Now, depending on the insurance companies and the type of lines of business that you want to sell, that will determine whether you can get appointed with them. So some, like I think, home and auto might be a little tougher to get into than just like being a regular life agent. So you'll just have to, pick the companies you want to represent. That's a whole nother topic. But once you're appointed and you're licensed, then you can sell insurance in the states that you're a resident in. And then after that, if you need to get licensed in non-resident states, usually it's just applying and proving that you have your resident license and paying a fee. And then you've got to make sure you keep your continuing ed up every year and pay your licensing fee every year so that you're in compliance. I knew somebody that didn't pay their licensing fee, they let it expire, and yet they continued to write insurance. And so, they got suspended and put on probation, and now it's a real hassle for them every time they want to apply for a non-resident license in order to do that. They work through it, but it's something that you can avoid. You want to make sure you do that. So if you got any questions about the licensing process and how to get started, put them in the comments below. And if you like the video, be sure and subscribe and follow along my other videos that I've got on my YouTube channel. I'm Michael, and good luck starting your insurance career.